fight with Paddy?
Paddy.
When he deserved, why not? If he won the next couple match and when he's gonna be like top 10, why not? Because I don't have some excited fight in my division. We need some new name.
What did you think of his performance? Did you see that submission?
Yeah, I see how he finished Bobby.
King.
King. Oh, sorry, man. Yeah, it's good performance. And now it's the time when he have good opponents, when he in the top. Now he have to training more, you know. Now it's all guys are so dangerous.
Makes it very interesting. Absolute shark tank at 155 pounds.
People always say, oh, do you think you beat Islam Makhachev? I'm like, obviously. Think
You've
I'm going
got
to sit? Yeah, you've got to. Do you think I'm going to sit here and go, oh no, he beat me? Then I'm not a fighter. I'm a coward. I'd have respect Islam. You know what I mean? He's a great champion. People will probably laugh at me for saying this, but obviously I think I beat him. I don't think any man on this planet that beat me ever got in a cage with him. I think I beat everyone. And if you think anyone in your division or anyone that you're like rivals with, anything like that, can beat you, you're in the wrong sport. Go and do footy or rugby or cricket.
Islam Makhachev isn't one to throw out names for no reason, but when it comes to Paddy Pimblett, he's open to the idea. In a recent chat, Islam made it clear he's not chasing hype, but if Paddy earns it, then yeah, he's down. No shade, no trash talk, just facts. He's watching, and he knows exactly what it would take for that matchup to make sense.
And here's how he responded.
Did you see that where Islam was talking about me the other day? He said he's an exciting fighter and that, keeps winning, you never know, he could fight for the belt and that. You know Islam, we're coming brother, we're coming.
What are your end of the year awards, Brad?
Islam's sub was good, but it's just a dash choke. It's a dash choke. Poirier's been submitted multiple times before. I'd submit custom Poirier. I think Khamzat's sub was better. Khamzat v Robert Whittaker was a better submission. No one's done.
And now things just got a lot more interesting. Paddy didn't just pick up another win. He stopped Michael Chandler. Clean. That's not a small feat. Chandler's a former title challenger, a heavy hitter, and someone who's gone to war with names like Gaethje, Poirier, and Oliveira. Paddy beating him, and beating him the way he did, suddenly puts him on a whole different level. But Islam's not handing out title shots based on crowd reactions or charisma. For him, it's simple. Get the wins, earn your spot, and maybe then the door opens. He's not against fighting Paddy, but only if Paddy makes it undeniable. If he keeps beating legit opponents, climbs into the top 10, and actually becomes a real threat, then the conversation changes. Until then, it's all noise. Right now, Islam sees Paddy as someone with momentum, but not someone who's fully proven himself at the top. He's watching, sure, but he also knows how different things get once you're standing across from elite competition. Paddy passed a major test with Chandler, but there's still a few more ahead. If he keeps showing up like that, Islam might just be the next one standing in front of him.
You're currently ranked 14, you know who's number 1.
People always say, oh, do you think you beat Islam Makhachev? I'm like, obviously. Do you think I'm going to sit here and go, oh no, he beat me? Then I'm not a fighter. I'm a coward. I'd have respect Islam. You know what I mean? He's a great champion. I think I beat him. Like, I don't think any man on this planet that beat me ever got in a cage with him.
So Islam wouldn't.
Do you think Islam moves up?
He's going to wait until Bilal, Jack Della Maddalena fight, and if JDM wins, he's going to go up and fight for that belt. But I don't think the UFC would strip Islam, because he deserves it. Beating Volk, beating Poirier, and then Volk again. The Moicano one was very.
You went pretty hard on Moicano, right?
He's never going to fight for the lightweight title again. He shouldn't have fought for it that time. He didn't deserve it, but he got the title shot. But when you go asleep, you just wake back up, go asleep, go out on your shield.
How you can tap? Go sleep. Go sleep.
Paddy, meanwhile, is already thinking 10 steps ahead. Rankings don't faze him. People pointing out he's only just cracked into the top 15. That's not enough to rattle his mindset. In his world, it's not about where he's listed. It's about what he's capable of. And when people ask him if he thinks he can beat Islam, there's no hesitation, no second guessing. He's not wired to doubt himself. That's not how he operates. If he did, he wouldn't be in this game. To Paddy, confidence isn't optional. It's necessary. It's not about arrogance either. He knows Islam is a beast. He knows what the champ brings to the table. The dominance, the pressure, the grappling, the composure. It's all there. But Paddy doesn't view those things as roadblocks. He sees them as challenges to overcome, not reasons to fold. And it's not some fake bravado. This is a guy who genuinely believes that once that cage door shuts, nobody is untouchable. Not even the champ. He respects Islam's reign, but he's not intimidated by it. That's a huge difference. He's not asking for handouts, and he's not chasing clout. He believes that if the day comes when they're locked in together, he's walking out with the win. No questions asked. For Paddy, it's not a matter of if he belongs with the best, it's when. And in his head, that moment's coming sooner than people think. He doesn't just want the opportunity, he's already preparing for it. That self-belief might sound crazy to some, but to Paddy, it's survival. It's how he stays sharp, how he stays dangerous. And when he talks about facing Islam, there's no trace of fear, just pure, undiluted intent.
Are you surprised at all that Topuria ended up going up to 155? So what did you make of that?
I don't understand why he's moved up. He's tiny. He's not even a big featherweight. Never mind big enough for lightweight. And he's only defended the belt once. I know he's knocked a lot of people out, but against Volk had only just recovered from getting head kicked 12 weeks earlier and knocked clean out by Islam. I think if he fought Volk again, it'd be a different fight. I think he half ran away from Volk. If he fights Islam, he'll get manhandled and he'll get submitted. So I don't even understand why he's moved.
Conor was my mentally toughest fight. Islam was tough skill-wise, but gritty toughness, Dan Hooker was a tough one. Gaethje's tough. Max was tough. I've had a few guys like that just wouldn't go down.
So we met up with Islam's camp, and so they're in the mountains.
Run through a day.
After the first run, it's like 2 miles through the mountains, and then Islam goes to sleep again.
He wakes up. I think we come
Walk,
back and then
eat, sleep, 2-mile run, into the gym. Then they did sparring. One guy I think was getting a bit like going hard on Islam.
Yeah.
And Islam fucking body shot his ass.
Need the fuck
Like a real one.
Like the guy was done.
Paddy's confidence doesn't stop with himself. He's been vocal about others too, especially when it comes to fighters stepping into Islam's territory without fully understanding what they're signing up for. Take Ilia Topuria, for example. Paddy didn't hold back on that one. He questioned the move to lightweight, not out of hate, but from a place of sheer realism. In his eyes, Ilia's jump wasn't just bold, it was reckless. To Paddy, Ilia isn't even one of the bigger featherweights, let alone someone built for the chaos at 155. And walking into that division thinking you can take on Islam, that's not bravery. That's walking into a buzzsaw with your eyes closed. He doesn't think Ilia's ready for that kind of punishment, and based on how he sees Islam operate, he's probably not wrong. Because here's the thing, Islam isn't your standard lightweight. He doesn't rely on one weapon. He drowns you, he presses forward with a pace that never fades, closes distance with minimal effort. And once you're on the mat, it's not just about control, it's domination. He doesn't just take you down, he takes the will out of you. That's what makes him so dangerous. It's not flashy knockouts or wild exchanges. It's how methodically he breaks fighters down piece by piece. And when people do try to stand and trade with him, they often forget. Islam's striking is sharp, calculated, and getting better every fight. He doesn't need to rush. He doesn't need to impress. He's already seen what panic looks like in the eyes of top-tier fighters. That's why Paddy's so cautious when others act like they can just walk into that fire and survive. He's not saying it to protect anyone. He's saying it because he's seen what happens when you underestimate someone like Islam. And whether it's Ilia making the leap too soon or anyone else dreaming of an upset, Paddy knows exactly what kind of storm they're walking into.
Yeah, this is Gaethje versus Oliveira.
Oh, Charles.
This is how good Islam is. Because up until this moment, when Charles Oliveira finished Justin Gaethje and he just beat him up and dropped him on the feet and then submitted him on the ground, people were thinking, there's no one that can challenge Charles. Charles is at such an elite level. Islam beats him so soundly that now you're like, I don't even know if it makes sense for Charles to fight him again.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's how good he is.
How Islam beat Charles. Like, nobody saw that coming.
I thought it was going to be a tough fight.
I thought it was going to be a tough fight too.
He hurt him on the feet.
On the feet.
On the feet.
Beat him standing, and then followed him to where everybody thought he would be safe at. And I seen a clip of that choke that he did. I know how that choke was so tight now. So because most people finish a head and arm triangle, they go into the elbow,
the bicep. Yeah.
He went
up higher.
He went up higher, and then locked it here.
Tighter squeeze into it. Well, I think his squeeze is just phenomenal. Yeah. Like, because if you see the way he tapped Drew Dober too, the same sort of situation, he gets guys on the ground and I think it's just a next level power and squeeze. Some dudes just have next level squeeze. and next level like grappling power, and he's developed that his whole life. He's also enormous for 155. Islam's front kick up the middle is a new wrinkle. Yep, I like that.
Imagine if he had.
Oh, kick! Oh, head kick! Oh my god! Oh my god! He head kicked him.
Oh my!
And it's not just fighters like Paddy sounding the alarm. Respected voices in the fight game are taking notice too. Joe Rogan, someone who's seen the evolution of the sport firsthand, has been openly impressed by what Islam brings into the octagon. Not just the results, but the technique behind the domination. What stands out to Rogan isn't just the wins, it's how Islam is winning. The way he finished Charles Oliveira left jaws dropped. That wasn't supposed to be easy. Charles was on a tear, a submission wizard with heavy hands, and Islam didn't just beat him, he controlled every moment. Standing, striking, and even in the one area people thought Charles might have the edge. Grappling, Islam flipped the script. He didn't just survive on the ground, he ended it there. But Rogan dives deeper than just the highlight reels. He's fascinated by the small details, how Islam adds subtle new tools to his arsenal, like that sharp front kick up the middle, or how he finishes submissions with angles and pressure that most fighters can't replicate. His squeeze, his control, his timing, it's all been forged through years of relentless training and fine-tuning, and you can see that in how quickly he shuts people down. According to Rogan, it's not just talent, it's freakish grappling strength combined with high fight IQ. He's one of those rare fighters who can make elite competition look ordinary. And at 155, where everyone is cutting hard and scrapping for inches, Islam stands out as someone who doesn't just fight smarter, he fights heavier, stronger, and more suffocating than almost anyone in the division.
Right here, you see him land this beautiful knee, times it perfectly, just splits the cheek of Michael Chandler. Look at the timing on this knee that splits
up. Paddy Pimblett showed tonight that he is the real deal. Beating Michael Chandler and beating him the way that he did, I don't know how you can doubt the kid anymore.
It would seem likely that next fight out, he's going to get a big name opponent, right? Probably that would be the one that put him into title contention.
Tonight was a pretty big name opponent too. But yeah, he's in that spot now where he's going to be fighting.
And now that Paddy's officially broken into that top tier with his win over Chandler, everything's changed. The conversations around him aren't about potential anymore, they're about legacy. Dana White didn't hold back either. After the fight, he said it straight, Paddy Pimblett is the real deal, and from here on out, it's all big name opponents. The thing is, in a stacked lightweight division, the list of big names isn't endless, and one name towers above the rest, Islam Makhachev. If you read between the lines, it makes perfect sense. Islam has already made it clear that he's looking for fresh blood. He's wiped out most of the division's elite, and even he admitted things are starting to feel a little stale at the top. He wants excitement, he wants a new face, and Paddy, he's the definition of new blood with fire behind him. This isn't some long shot fantasy matchup anymore. Paddy just took out Michael Chandler, one of the toughest, most explosive lightweights in the game. He didn't just survive, he took over, silenced the doubters, and proved he's evolved. And now that Dana himself has said Paddy is ready for that upper echelon, you have to wonder, is Islam next?
This is how we win. We game plan, we use our fight IQ, and we beat motherfuckers up. Anyone else got any questions?
Who would you like to fight next?
Anyone in the top 4, top 5. I want that world title. All laugh all yous want and say I'll never be champ. Just like you said, I'll never get ranked. I'll never be on the top 10. Well, what now?
Now that Paddy's name is floating around in the same sentence as Islam's, there's one question that naturally follows. How do their styles actually stack up?
How quickly Moicano tapped. And it's not just Moicano, it's every other jiu-jitsu black belt.
Black belt? Who gave him that?
That he's come across in the octagon has tapped so fast. He even does it differently. Like he grabs his own forearm, not the bicep, and his back just kind of molds like a mutant. Like he starts choking you with his back. You know?
He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He felt like his Jiu-Jitsu could be dangerous for you. Obviously, that was not the case here.
I check who have real black belt, who don't have real black belt.
Yeah, you certainly could be the black belt killer.
His squeeze must be on another level.
Ilya versus Islam Makhachev, he's probably going to walk in the cage. I think he was around 180, 181. Ilya Topuria has never thrown a kick above the waist. Never in his UFC career. He's got this wide boxing stance. Obviously, there's a puncher's chance, but as soon as Islam grabs a hold of him, I think it's going to be over. You're fighting someone who's an orthodox boxer. It's not that hard to time a shot to the legs, and I'm sure Ilya is a really good grappler, really good black belt, but I think Islam's just going to be too strong, too powerful, and it's going to submit Ilya Topuria.
Because this wouldn't just be hype versus hype, it would be pressure versus precision. Islam Makhachev has made a career out of shutting people down. His wins over Charles Oliveira, Alexander Volkanovski, and Drew Dober weren't just victories, they were clinics. Islam doesn't chase chaos, he creates order, and once you're caught in it, there's no way out. His grappling isn't just technical, it's relentless. It's like fighting in quicksand. But Paddy lives in chaos. His ground game is unpredictable and wild. He's not the kind of guy who plays it safe. Just look at his fights with Jordan Levitt or Kazula Vargas. He doesn't mind getting taken down because he's just as dangerous off his back. He rolls, scrambles, and locks in submissions before most fighters even realize what's happening. And now, with that explosive win over Michael Chandler, he's proved he's not just a grappler. He's got the hands to hang with anyone on the feet. That brings us to what's really at stake here.
The lightweight division is so fun. Back in England, we have Paddy Pimblett. I personally would love to see that fight. He's similar to you in that he's a polarizing figure. Love him or hate him, he brings it.
He's a good kid, Paddy. The Scousers, you gotta love the Scousers. You know, my father was born in Liverpool. One side of my family is from there. So I got a lot of love for that part of the world. And who knows, I will never say no to nothing. You know what I mean? Never say never, as they say.
For Islam, a fight with Paddy could feel like just another defense, but it's not. It's a shift in the division's tone. Paddy isn't just a challenger, he's a disruptor. If Islam beats him, it silences the noise and keeps the title scene tight and controlled. But if Paddy wins, the lightweight division explodes. It flips the table. Suddenly, you're talking about rematches with Chandler, potential fights with Gaethje, or even a McGregor super fight. Paddy instantly becomes one of the UFC's most marketable champions. And that's exactly why this matchup is so fascinating. It's not just about rankings, it's a clash of identities. Islam is quiet, reserved, and composed. He doesn't need trash talk, he speaks through domination. Paddy, on the other hand, is the noise. He's the post-fight speeches, the viral sound bites, the wild energy that either makes you love him or love to hate him. Imagine the lead up to this fight. One guy cracking jokes and flipping the crowd into a frenzy, the other standing calm, arms folded, knowing full well what he brings once the cage door closes. Naturally, fans are split down the middle. Some believe Paddy's being pushed too fast, that Islam's pressure, size, and experience would suffocate him, that Chandler was a wild brawler, but Islam is a tactician. And then there are Paddy's fans who see this as his moment. They've watched him grow from scrappy Cage Warriors standout to UFC star, and they believe he's exactly the kind of chaos that could disrupt a fighter like Islam, someone who won't respect the usual patterns, someone who could flip the script. But let's talk legacy for a second, because that's what this fight is really about underneath it all. If Islam wins, he will continue building one of the most dominant lightweight reigns in UFC history. His resume is already stacked with names like Charles Oliveira, Bobby Green, Dan Hooker, and Volkanovski. Adding Paddy to that list just deepens the run. For Paddy, though, this is the ticket. Chandler was the launch pad, but Islam would be the moon landing. A win over the reigning champ would instantly rewrite his narrative. No longer the kid with flashy promos and wild hair. He'd be the man who dethroned the most technical lightweight of this generation, the man who backed up every word he said. As the buzz around this potential fight grows, one big question still stands. Will they even face off? Could we see Islam and Paddy finally step into the octagon together, or will this one stay in the talks for a while? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this fight will actually happen? Who would you pick if it does?